The music ends. Your hands come together before you've made a single decision about it. No one told you to clap. No one had to. Your palms just moved, fast and hard, without instruction. You didn't choose this. Your body did.
Everyone assumes clapping means happiness, that it's just noise for joy. But the real reason has nothing to do with how you feel. The real reason is older, stranger, and far less about emotion than you've ever considered. Somewhere in your evolutionary past, long before language, long before music, long before applause meant anything close to what it means now, your ancestors used rhythmic noise to survive. Not to celebrate, to warn, to signal, to announce in the fastest and loudest way a body could manage that the group was still together, still alive, still watching each other's backs. Think about that for a second. What sound can a human body make instantly, without a weapon, without preparation, without even a raised voice? A clap, sharp, percussive, impossible to ignore. Early humans lived in small, exposed groups. Predators were real, darkness was real. And one of the fastest ways to signal danger, or to signal that everything was still safe, was a sound produced by the body itself. Stomping, slapping thighs, striking hands together. It didn't require planning. It didn't require agreement. It only needed hands, and a group close enough to hear them. No spoken language could travel that fast in a moment of panic. A word has to be understood. A sound doesn't. A sharp crack of two palms meeting carries meaning before the brain even has time to translate it into thought. That speed is exactly why this kind of signal survived when so many other ancient behaviors didn't. It worked faster than talking. It worked faster than thinking. Over tens of thousands of years, that instinct never disappeared. It just changed jobs. Consider how many cultures, completely disconnected from each other, arrived at the exact same behavior. Group stomping before a hunt, rhythmic hand striking during a ritual gathering, war preparations built around synchronized noise, loud enough to make a group of scattered individuals sound and feel like a single unified force. None of these groups copied each other. They arrived at rhythmic body noise independently because the same evolutionary pressure was acting on all of them. A synchronized group sounds bigger than it is. A synchronized group signals cohesion to threats outside it and safety to members inside it. The clap, in its earliest form, wasn't decoration, it was infrastructure.
By the time we reach ancient Rome, the clap had a completely different function. It wasn't about survival anymore, it was about power.
Roman emperors understood something modern audiences almost never think about. Applause could be manufactured, trained, directed like a weapon of public opinion. The historian Mary Beard, who has spent decades studying daily life and spectacle in ancient Rome, has written extensively about how emperors didn't simply enjoy applause, they engineered it. The Emperor Nero didn't leave crowd reaction to chance. According to the Roman biographer Suetonius, Nero recruited thousands of young men, mostly equestrians, and organized them into a claque known as the Augustiani. These men weren't in the audience by accident. They were trained, drilled, assigned specific applause techniques with their own names. One style, called bombi, produced a low, buzzing hum. Another, imbrices, mimicked the clatter of rain hitting curved roof tiles. A third, teste, sounded like broken pottery striking together. None of this happened naturally. It was choreography disguised as spontaneous joy.
Here's the turning point. By the time Nero's claques were filling Roman theaters with rehearsed noise, the original purpose of rhythmic hand sound, group cohesion, danger signaling, ancient survival, had already faded completely from memory. Nobody clapping for Nero was thinking about predators or lost ancestors. But the behavior itself never left. It only got repurposed by whoever understood how to control what a crowd sounded like. That's the strange part. The gesture outlived its own meaning. And Nero wasn't an isolated case. Once the Augustiani proved that a crowd's reaction could be manufactured on demand, the claque became an actual profession in Rome and later across Europe for centuries afterward. Paid applauders sat in theaters, opera houses, and courtrooms, waiting to be cued. Some were paid in coin, some were paid in bread,
Some simply wanted the free seat that came with the job. What mattered was the sound they produced, not the emotion behind it. A packed room could sound completely unified, completely moved, completely convinced, while the people producing that sound felt nothing at all.
And once emperors proved that applause could be manufactured, the tool spread. Political rallies borrowed it, religious ceremonies borrowed it, public theaters, courtrooms, coronations, every setting that needed to project unity or approval reached for the same ancient behavior. Not because anyone remembered why humans started making rhythmic noise together in the first place, because the behavior was already sitting there, wired into the body, ready to be triggered on command.
So why does your brain still reach for it today? The instant a song ends, or a speech lands well. This is where the story gets even stranger. Because the real trigger for modern clapping isn't how happy you are, it's synchronization. Néda's research found that this synchronization isn't a conscious choice at all. It's an acoustic reflex. People, hearing each other's claps in real time, unconsciously adjust their own timing to match the loudest, most dominant rhythm in the room. Your brain is chasing a shared beat, the same way it once chased a shared signal for danger or safety. You aren't deciding to fall into sync with a room full of strangers. Your nervous system is doing it without asking your permission.
And why would your brain be built to chase synchrony with people you've never met?
The anthropologist Robin Dunbar has spent years studying how humans bond in groups, and one of his central findings is that synchronized behavior, laughing together, singing together, dancing together, and yes, clapping together, triggers a release of endorphins tied directly to social bonding. That's the same chemical reward your ancestors once got from physical grooming. Hours spent picking through each other's hair, building trust, one small gesture at a time. Today, that same reward system fires from something as small as clapping in rhythm with a room full of people you'll never speak to. Dunbar's research goes further than clapping alone. He's argued that human social groups grew too large for grooming to keep everyone bonded the old way. There simply wasn't enough time in the day to physically groom every member of an expanding tribe. So the brain needed a faster substitute, something that could bond dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of people at once, without touching a single one of them. Laughter did part of that work. Music did part of it. And synchronized noise, the kind a clapping crowd produces in seconds, does it faster than almost anything else humans have discovered. One burst of applause can chemically bond a stadium of 40,000 strangers who will never exchange a single word. That's why clapping never feels optional in the moment, even when you'd swear it's a free choice. It isn't really a measure of how good the performance was. It's your nervous system walking onto a synchronized signal the instant it detects one. The exact same reflex that once told your ancestors the group was still intact, still together, still safe. Which brings us to something uncomfortable. If ancient humans used rhythmic noise for safety and Roman emperors used it for political control, what does that make a modern standing ovation? It isn't as different from either one as you'd like to think. A crowd rising together, clapping in unison, isn't a pure individual expression of joy at all. It's a synchronized social signal, the same reflex Néda measured with a stopwatch, the same bonding chemistry Dunbar documented in laboratories, running on hardware that was never designed for concerts, theaters, or emperors in the first place. It was designed for survival, and it's been rerouted ever since. Even the parts of clapping that feel most personal, the sudden urge, the inability to stop yourself, the strange discomfort of being the only one not doing it, trace back to that same ancient wiring. Isolation once meant danger. A body out of sync with the group was a body the group might leave behind. Falling silent while everyone around you claps still triggers a version of that old alarm, even in a room where nothing is actually at stake. Watch a stadium during a game-winning play, and you'll see the entire ancient chain acting out in real time. The noise starts ragged, scattered, uncoordinated. Within moments, it locks into a shared rhythm, exactly as Néda measured. The chemical reward Dunbar documented floods through 40,000 strangers simultaneously. And somewhere underneath all of it, a signal older than language is still running its original program.
announcing the way it always has that the group is unified, energized, and very much still together.
Award shows work the same way, engineered the same way the Augustiani once were. Producers know which moments are built for a reaction shot. Camera operators are positioned before the applause even starts, because the applause is expected, cued by lighting, music swells, and pacing designed to trigger exactly the reflex Néda studied decades later in a lab. You'll notice it again the next time it happens. A film ends, a song finishes, a speaker says exactly the right line at exactly the right moment. Your hands will move before your mind catches up, running a program written long before theaters, long before empires, long before anyone alive today was born. The music ends. Your hands come together before you've made a single decision about it. Only now, you know what's actually happening. It was never about how happy you felt in that moment. It was an ancient survival signal, hijacked by Roman emperors, measured by modern physics, and rewarded by a bonding system your brain has been running since long before applause or music or Rome ever existed.